What's up guys, it's the Modfather66 back again with another video today on Assassin's Creed Origins. Really been looking forward to this game, and a part that a lot of my friends have been struggling with is the hippodrome and just different ways to get through the races, because the last two tournaments can be quite difficult. But today I'm going to show you a few tricks what you can do and you'll beat it easily, because there is methods of beating these races, it's just a way of finding them. First of all, I do recommend that you do the tutorial race, because it just shows you the basics of the race and the different controls. It'll show you how to block against when enemies are ramming and stuff like that, and how to drift like this. But I've skipped the tutorial race. You know that it doesn't take long, it only takes 5 minutes, it just shows the basics. There's nothing really I can show you about that. The first tournament is called Nike's Winged Victory. Pretty straightforward. Exactly the same way around the track as what you did in the tutorial race. Enemies aren't that aggressive. Even if you come off a few times, you can still easily, you know, get back on your chariot and get to the end of the race. You should be able to get 3 wins on this, but you don't need 3 wins. Each tournament is made up of 3 races. First place gets 5 points, second place gets 3 points, third place gets 2 points, and after that every other position gets 0. So you only need 2 wins and a second place. If you get 2 seconds and you're going into 3rd race, just try and go for a win, because you don't have to win 2. It's just, you know, it depends on what other people get. You know how a tournament works. But anyway, every race you finish, the first race that you do in each tournament, you'll start at the front of the grid. The second race you'll start in the second row. The third race you'll start in the third. All you can do is try your best to get to the front. In the first 2 tournaments, just go as aggressive as you want, because you'll not take much damage. On the second 2 tournaments, just try and be a bit more careful. Try and get in between carts or round carts. Don't try and be aggressive towards them, because chances are you will get your chariot smashed and it will forfeit the race for you. You can carry on the tournament, but that's a race that you've got with 0 points and you've got a very low chance of coming in first. So anyway, that's the first tournament out of the way. The second one is Ramsays' Divine Justice. Pretty straightforward again. You've got a couple of obstacles on the track this time. You're going backwards. But again, other races, they're not that aggressive. They'll not ram you, so you know you can pretty much block. As soon as you get to the front of the pack, just block. You're not going to take much damage at all. Another pretty straightforward race. This time, the track does split off into 2 areas on 2 different tracks around the obstacles. Just stick to the inside track, because that's where most of the enemies are going to go. And make sure you keep using your boost as well, I forgot to mention. As soon as your boost is full, use it down the longest straight. Don't use it when you're going around the corners on the boost. It don't make you get around the corners faster. If anything, it just makes it harder for you to regain your balance at the end when you're trying to go in a straight line again. So that's the second tournament out of the way. I'll just let this race finish before I carry on. As you can see guys, that's a pretty easy win again. The third tournament is the Sol Indigenous Curses Magnus's tournament. Try saying that after a few beers and I bet you can. Now this tournament is where things get a little bit more tricky, because the other races are going to be very aggressive. Don't be surprised if this takes you a few attempts to get it. But again, this track splits off into 2 areas onto 2 different tracks. And what you want to do, when you're going to drift, make sure you go to the outside track, because you gain drift for the longer that you're on the dirt track. So the longer that you're on it, the more boost you're going to get. A lot of the other racers tend to stick to the inside track, which means they're going to lose out on boost. Every time you drift, come to the outside track, go straight through, but make sure when other racers are coming up behind you, you want to press the LB or the L1 trigger, and you want to block against them because they do some serious damage, these chariots. Again, as you can see, I'm trying my hardest to get to the outside track. Let them two battle it out because, like I said, they are very aggressive. They'll not just try to attack you, they'll attack each other as well. So as you get further along the tournament, and along the race, you'll see that other chariots have been smashed up, so try to avoid them as well, because that will knock you off your chariot and you will lose time, and it is important in this race that you try to stay on for the entirety of the race. The only time you want to differ from going to the outside track is on the very last corner before the finish line. I made the mistake of going to the outside track again, not realising how close the finish line was to the corner, and I just got nicked for first place, which did end up costing me the tournament because I'd already got 2 seconds. But as you can see on this last lap, on the last corner, I'm taking it right in and I'm sticking it to the inside track, and that's an easy first. Do that again for the next 2 races and you're sorted. Now the final race, it's not that difficult. The last one was the most difficult one of the 4. The Darius' Great Battle. This is in a Persian style, which I'm guessing Persians like to set things on fire a lot and race through fire. Now I've done this on the last race of the tournament, so you can see that it's not as difficult as the others. I finished first by a long margin on this one. As you can see, there's fire down the inside track, and it splits off into 2 tracks again, but different from the last race, you want to stick to the inside track. Now you don't want to do what I'm doing here and sticking to the very close edge before you drift. As you're approaching the end of the track, you'll notice the fire stops in the middle. You want to swing your chariot out to the right and then drift back in, because it's a better racing line, and you ain't got to straighten up your chariot as much at the end. Don't worry too much about the fire that's coming out of the pillars, because that don't really do much damage to you. Stay away from the fire in the middle of the 2 lanes, because obviously you don't want to be racing through a long line of fire. But the fire that comes out of the pillars, it's not going to bother you. Half a second you're going to be through it. The fire bombs do more damage. I don't get why people are throwing fire at me all the time. I've not done wrong to these people. But as you can see, I'm pulling away quite quickly from the other racers. The last race on this, as you can see, goes for 5 laps. It just makes it easier, to be honest. You've got more time to make up ground. One tip I can give you, final tip I can give you for this race in particular, it doesn't really work for the other tournaments, is don't use your boost all at once. As you can see, I'm just using a little bit, letting it regain, using a little bit again and letting it regain. That really helped me out a lot, because I noticed that this track seems longer. I know it's in the hippodrome, but I don't know if they extended it just by a little bit. But when I was using my boost in one full go, I was running out of my boost way before the end of the run, which means because I was only having a shorter amount of time when I was drifting to actually get boost back. I had boost none of the time more than I did when I had it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can get. I don't know what that kid was doing. He's not destroyed, he's just racing into a wall. So that goes to show you the difference of the difficulty of the races between these 2 tournaments. If you've played them, you'll know what I mean. That Magnus's tournament was a complete bitch. I nearly just gave up on that. But anyway guys, this is the end of the first set of tournaments. After this, an extreme version of the races does come available. I'm going to have a video coming up soon about how to complete the extreme tournaments, and also what rewards you'll get from that. You're probably wondering what rewards you get from this. It's a new mount called the Pharaoh's Horse, and it's one majestic looking motherfucker. It looks really nice when it's played in game. I haven't got any gameplay at the moment, but it's really worth doing. It doesn't seem to run any faster, but it's a really nice aesthetic thing to have. So guys, if you enjoyed the video and it's helped you out a lot, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe. I've been ModFarber66, and I'll see you all on the next video.